Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Baddutch playing the Tier 9 Premium IJN battleship. Hizen? We'll go with Hizen. Like Hizen and Huron. Amused myself, if no one else. As you can see, this thing is, well, it's a little bit different. It is, well, essentially it's a shell catcher. Somebody gets behind you. This is my first look at this video replay, but I understand that Baddutch had a pretty good game here, so I look forward to seeing this. Now, why do I call this a shell catcher? Well, you can see down there at the toward the aft where the aircraft are located, there is a wide flat section that is perfectly situated to catch shells, arm them, and allow bad guys to do maximum damage. So it is debatable how effective this ship can be if kiting away. Now we'll see whether we're going to get any examples of that here or not. But it's not hard to see that that is I would say we'll just call it a reasonable potential. I'm sure you're familiar with this map if you've played this game any length of time. It's always interesting when there are not multiple caps to contest. Destroyers can afford to be a little bit more, well, let's just call it cautious. Now I'm going to go in here and adjust some things that since the 0.10.5 update will not stay set for replays. Stay set fine in the game, but not in replays. And unfortunately, one of the mods that I like to run that is normally active in the mod station, they have not gotten around yet to putting back in the mod station since the most recent game update. That's the one that shows you the relative angle of your target and your relative angle to that target. Makes it a little bit more challenging to know where to place your shots. A little bit of damage there, almost 8,800. Enemy Scharnhorst is pushing in, and he's really paying a price for that. Not only is he pushing in, he's pushing in kind of dead center. He is not going to last long. Nice shot, 7,500 damage, and he finishes off the Scharnhorst. Nice shot, Baddutch. Now you'll notice that Baddutch is sticking with the HE here. HE on this ship, these guns are 410s. You can see you got a total of 12 barrels. Reload time on these guns, without any adjustment, 38 seconds. That would have been a great time for some AP right there. But it's still going to do some big damage, I think. Riga is lightly armored. Yeah, that's a nice shot. 38-second reload. Turret traverse, it's not horrible, but not great either. 45 seconds for 180-degree turn. Max dispersion on these guns, 230 meters at max range. Maximum damage for the HE shells, 6,500. Now the AP, oh, and there's a 30% fire chance on the HE. The AP does a max damage of 12,750. So a little bit of a difference there. And they are big enough, being 410s, to punch right through most cruiser armor. You can, if you catch, say, a Smolensk or something broadside, get a lot of overpens, but if you're careful in your shot placement, get the shells to arm, you can do big damage. Baddutch sticks with the AG. 5 minutes, 12 seconds in, 36,511 damage. 766,000 potential damage. Good guys, this looks very good for the good guys. Bad guys are down at Scharnhorst, Riga, and a kid. Good guys have yet to lose any ship at all. Though Colorado is probably not long for this world. Yeah, down he goes. Now there's the ship that took out the Colorado, the Deceiven Provincian. A bit of, let's just call it a kerfluffle over the most recent dockyard event, among other things. If you are the sort to pay attention to what's going on outside the game, which I'm not necessarily advocating, because times like this, Georgia just wrecked York. Times like this, it can be a little bit depressing to do that. That's an AP volley there. Georgia's retreating. Let's see whether or not any of those shells land. Nope. One ricochet. The way that Wargaming has gone about their business model has been, at least in my opinion, and I'm not alone in this, there are quite a few people that feel this way, has been kind of, let's just say, increasingly predatory and reliant on what are arguably gambling mechanics. Now, what do I mean by gambling mechanics? Well, they lock things behind loot boxes. For example, they recently announced that they were going to make the Missouri available again. And everybody got excited thinking they were going to be able to either just buy it outright or that maybe it would be free XP again, which is what it was originally. The ship has so much historical significance for so many, not just in the United States, but around the world, that a lot of collectors of ships that play this game were really excited about the possibility of being able to pick that ship up and having it in their port. But Wargaming announced that you couldn't buy it, and it wasn't going to be available for free XP, that in fact, if you wanted to pick up the Missouri, that's a nice shot. If you wanted to pick up the Missouri, you'd have to gamble on picking it up out of a loot box, and you just have to keep buying loot boxes in the hope that maybe one of them will give you the Missouri. It's bad enough that they're doing it, but the way that they announced that they were going to make the Missouri available led everybody to believe otherwise. So to find out later, after getting maybe a little bit excited, that they would have a chance to pick up a ship that had been taken out of rotation, only to learn that no, you're just going to be buying a chance with each of the boxes that you buy that you might end up with a Missouri. And at least to my way of thinking, and I know I'm not alone in this, that is straight up gambling. And Wargaming has been relying more and more and more on that. And they create scarcity, and then they use gambling mechanics to try to get people to part with hard-earned dollars. And, you can say, what people do with their money is their business, and I agree with that. But this game is marketed not only to intelligent, capable adults, but to children. So, nice shot. I finished him off before the torps got there. So, I try very, very hard to avoid the appearance of morality police, but I question some of the tactics. And again, I'm not alone in that. And since that seems to be accelerating, it does give the appearance that wargaming are, for whatever reason, increasing we'll just call it greed, the attempt to get people to part with money using these gambling mechanics. 1.143 million potential damage, 51,000 damage, 2 kills. Good guys lose the Georgia to the Musashi. Now, if you have been following this, you probably know that some of the, some very well-known and respected community contributors have recently left the community contributor program for wargaming in protest over the things that I'm talking about. I do not and would not stand in judgment of that decision one way or the other. I respect the fact that anyone who feels that something, we'll just say, morally reprehensible, which is kind of the argument that at least one of them made, would not want to associate themselves with a company that does that. I respect that. But at the same time, I acknowledge that, for a lot of these CCs, this does represent a portion of, if not a majority of, their streaming income. So I would not judge anyone one way or the other as far as staying with the program or not. Now, Georgia burned down before the shells could get there. Now the bad guys, they have managed to stay in this game. I mean, they're down roughly 300 points. They've only got 4 ships. Losing the Georgia there really hurt them. But they've got the friendly Lo Yang in the cap. But I have a feeling the Cleveland's going to blap the Lo Yang. And that's going to change the complexion of the game a little bit. We'll see. I have to admit, watching this, that I kind of hope Yugamo's got torpedoes out on somebody and that those torpedoes land. Just to keep the game interesting. So, why do I bring all that up? Well, just essentially to say that if you're interested in such things, there's a wargaming, Cleveland did detonation on the Lo Yang, so that sped up that process quite a bit. If you're interested in such thing, there's a wargaming Reddit subthread. There are the wargaming forums, although I do not consider that a good source of information because at this point, 6 years on, there are a lot of what I would call wargaming sycophants that patrol the forums, and it doesn't matter what wargaming does, they will make excuses for it and essentially troll anybody who questions anything or offers an opinion other than the party line. But there are a lot of streamers and CCs and former CCs who are offering really great opinions about kind of where things are, not just about business practices of wargaming, but oof, nice. Finished off the Cleveland, caught him before he got back there behind the island. Good shot, Baddutch. But about the state of the game and how to kind of maximize your enjoyment of the game, ships to look out for, information about new ships. So why am I bringing that up? Because if you're not already, I encourage you to make use of YouTube and Twitch to learn more about the game. There is a wealth of information, and a lot of it is available in the Wargaming Wiki. That's probably going to really hurt. Yeah, that really did. Nice shot. If you're keeping track, that's kill number 4. Bad guys are down to only 2 ships. Remains to be seen whether there will be an opportunity to pick up a crack in here, but our hero is, chances are now greatly reduced. It's the only thing left to shoot at is a Yugamo, and there are other things that are a little bit closer. But anyway, I bring that up because if you haven't, and you don't spend any time researching, but you'd like to learn more about the game, about the mechanics of the game, various ships, there are a lot of resources, including people on YouTube and or Twitch. If you haven't ever done it, you can go to YouTube and, for example, you could say how to Hizen or how to Hizen. And almost certainly there will be videos, most of them from contributors or super testers, saying, here's what I learned about the ship, here's how I felt it was most effectively used. So if you have a favorite ship, it's one way to get better with it. Anyway, thanks for listening while I got some of that off my chest. Baddutch, really good game, man. 80,000 damage. You made some shots to finish off some ships that might otherwise have been a problem for your team. Good on you for that. You lead your team in terms of numbers of ships sunk, and it looks like you might get an opportunity to hit the Yugumo if the Fletcher doesn't finish him off here. Either way, those of you joining me, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you next time.